Ladies and gents, before we get to today's shenanigans, we have finally some little red merchandise. Been waiting to launch this for a little while. I was going to wait till I got to 1,000 followers on YouTube, but we got there on Instagram first, and I had all this design waiting to go, so I thought let's just launch it anyway. So yeah, t-shirts, hoodies, stickers in black or white, depending on your preference. All the pricing is in the link below. So is my the email address to order the merch with. It's all priced so that we don't make a lot of profit on it. It's like £3 or £4 on each item, and obviously all of the profit we make from the sales of the merch will go directly back in to the Fiesta and getting it up and running and on the track, etc, etc. So for all of you that have already purchased merch in the pre-launch sale on Instagram, thank you very much. Anyone that wants to order some merch, get in touch. And it wouldn't be a merch launch without quite literally launching some merch. So we're going to sacrifice this little red t-shirt. We're going to bundle it up in the exhaust, put the engine on two-step, and see how far we can launch it. So yeah, let's see how that goes. So there you have it, ladies and gents. Let that be a testament to the quality of the little red Fiesta merchandise. It's still in one piece after being in the turbine housing and the exhaust a few different times. So yeah, without further ado, let's get to today's shenanigans. That's it. Okay, ladies and gents, as always, back down the garage. I don't know about you lot, but I'm still up here on cloud 9 somewhere after last week's first start video finally happened. We finally got it fired into life. There was smoke, there was flames, there was noise, there was all that good stuff. There was also coolant leaks, quite a lot of oil spewing out the front of the block. Multiple issues, should we say, and that is going to be the agenda for tonight, is to sort out these little bits and pieces. We're going to see if we can get the engine idling properly, because at the moment it won't idle unless I hold the throttle open a few bits, so we need to adjust the throttle and that kind of thing. And then once we've done that, we're going to look at the coolant leak, which I think is fairly easy, quite a simple swap. There was some cheap hose that came on it, and I've got some blue line here. I'm just going to try and replace the cheap line with the blue line that came with that header. The oil leak, I have had a little look, and that again is another simple fix. What's missing out the front of the block is the little pin that cover the bolt that holds the where the crank locking tool goes when you lock the engine up to time it. The bolt that goes back in there once you take the locking tool out is missing, so that's where that oil is coming from. And I then did realise, and I actually realised it when I was watching the footage back, but this little breather thing that I knocked up, I've only put one bolt in the top of it, so that's probably not helping as well. So I'm going to put 2 bolts in the bottom of that. That is only a temporary thing. Sean at Billet Ford Components is working currently on a billet breather thing to go on there. As soon as he's got those knocked out and on the go, obviously I'll get one of those off of him to replace that. Hence why it's a little bit of a dodgy, welded up bodge job, but does the job for now. So so yeah, that's what's on the agenda tonight. Okay then, so where we are leaking from is the bottom of this little hose here. These are fairly easy to get out. They're just cheap push locks on the side of these fittings, so you can see the bottom of this hose. I don't know how well you can see it. Get the camera to focus. It's got like a end of it that's all chewed up. So I've got this blue line here, which I think is roughly the same diameter. Obviously this is not see-through, but I'm not too worried about that because I can just kind of pop the top of this open to check my coolant level. So I'm reasonably happy just to go ahead with that. So hopefully this will be a simple fix. I just line these two up side by side, chop that down to the right size, and then hopefully, fingers crossed, it's just a case of popping that in the bottom of there. Like that. That was a really snug fit actually, which is promising. And this one in there. Again, another nice snug fit. And that is coolant leak fixed, hopefully. So, just going to take the cap off of there. A little bit of water here. There is 90% coolant in there, so should be alright. Fill that most of the way up. Squeeze out any air bubbles that might have been in it. And it's still leaking. That's annoying. You guys don't know how well you'll be able to see it. But it's not leaking as bad as it was, but you can see just there dripping out the back of it. So it must mean that it's that fitting that's leaking and not actually the pipe, which that's frustrating because it means I have to sort out some more fittings or something for that. To be fair, this was like a £30 cheap tank off of eBay, so I don't know what I'm expecting really. You know, I probably should expect it to leak. Right, I'm gonna leave that like that, and I'll deal with that another day. Right, moving on. Let's move on to our little friend down there, which you can see. You might be able to see. I poked a bolt in the block the other day just to stop any more dripping out of there. I have actually got somewhere in here the proper bolt. I've got a spare engine over at my house. I've got a proper bolt that goes in there with the right wash and everything, so let's do that next.
A few moments later.
Okay, right. Where do we leave off? Yes, we left off. Oh, by the way, Dean's back down the garage. I mean, it's only been like, what's it been?
October, I think.
Yeah,
October,
something like that.
Second week back.
Yeah,
since...
been a long time. But basically, because we're now allowed to meet outside, garage doors are open. It's technically outside, as far as I'm concerned, as far as Dean's concerned. So, you know. But anyway, and it's now running. And of course, Dean needs to come down and see it running because before it was in the garage, if those of you that have been from the beginning and watched some of the really early videos, when we were round the side there, welding the front of this up in the pissing hard rain, it was terrible, like lights hanging and through the hard days, basically, before we're in this nice warm garage with this really good lighting and this really nice warm heater here. So yeah, he needs to be able to enjoy it. Yeah, so where did we leave off? Right, we left off with this bolt down here is now in place. I don't know how well you guys will be able to see it, but it's down there, that's in place. I put all 3 bolts in the little breather there. It is baffled, so we shouldn't get anything but smoke out of the AN10 line that's open there. But like I said, it's a temporary thing. Also hasn't got any gasket behind it. I've tightened it up as tight as I can, but that's that. I also got the core plug plate put back on because that wasn't on. I am missing a bolt there, and I had to use a mismatch here, but I'll order some new bolts, it's fine, don't worry about it. So basically, I've adjusted the VE table a little bit. I've adjusted the throttle linkage here so that it sits at about 4% throttle idle, because I've got all my idle screws completely closed, and we're using the throttle stop to basically put where our idle is, because it's just easier that way, because we can't get to any of these throttle stop, these idle screws without taking this off and taking that off and disconnecting boost hose and stuff. So the throttle stop is the easier way to do it. So I've had the battery on the charger, so we have now got a good 12.2 volts in their battery. I guess let's turn it on, see what happens. So yeah, I'm going to give the camera to Dean, see what happens. Fingers crossed, should all start nicely. Might need a little bit more throttle to keep it running. But, I mean, it started. That's stone cold. Literally, that's a stone cold engine. Coolant temperature is 8 degrees C. So, for a stone cold engine, I'll say that started pretty easy, to be honest. What I'm going to do is just...
I think that's the easiest it's ever started, I'll be honest.
Ever.
Yeah.
I'm just going to move that so I can see engine speed and throttle position so that I can work out where we need to adjust our throttle position to get a good idle. Let's go again. Way too much fuel. Way too much fuel. So, right, let me adjust the BE table then, because...
That reminds me of the day that the side exit fell off. And we were just...
Basically turned the inside of the car into a back box. That was, yeah, insanely loud. Insanely loud.
Loud.
Right, required fuel. We're going to take out 30% fuel. 30% fuel taken out. Right, let's try that again, see what happens.
Not bad. That's not bad.
Well, I was thinking about, I think because it's so close to the exhaust exit.
That won't help.
Only about 25 psi. Coming up reasonably nicely.
You might be able to adjust the fuel pressure.
113% at the moment. So I don't want to adjust anything out of it, because whatever I adjust will be plus 113%.
No, not at all.
There's no ridiculous amount of fluid coming out. That one's sweeter than it's ever run before, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%, mate. This is...
It's very, very loud though, isn't it?
It's going to echo in here. say if I'm doing?
Thermostat housing a little bit. Overall, I'm pretty happy with that.
It's a nice idle, to be honest.
Temperature, I let it keep coming all the way up. I've got no fans, it won't cool itself down. I mean, the old engine would have completely overheated
This would have overheated by now. Yeah, we didn't even idle this well either.
I still reckon it's pretty. It's still reasonably rich. Yeah, the car's bouncing about a lot though. I think because it's so close.
Yeah. Do you reckon it's where the
I mean, you can see it up there. Where it bounces back and forward. Like that, you're in to pick up there. That's about 12, we're going to take a little bit more out. That sounds a bit better. Flat on its face. Not idle. Set hit the gas and drops to about 11.
then comes back up.
I'll try and be a bit rich at this point.
Be safe though. on.
That's only 1200 RPM. Sorry, 2400. It won't go past 2400. Oh, hang on. Try that. Going lean.
This is the issue we had before though, wasn't it?
Still going really lean. Drives it really nice, 700 RPM. I can live with that.
It's going to be your cold start, isn't it?
80 degrees.
Happy days.
Right, so as you've just seen, had it running, had it idling, got it up to temperature. Found the problem was when we were revving sort of past 2.5k, set the base pressure to about 45 psi, which is about 3.5 bar. And as we were revving, obviously it was dropping slowly, but then as we got to about 2.5 grand, it would just drop, fall flat on its face and go basically lean because there was no fuel going in. Hence the big fuck off flame coming out of it. Excuse my French, there's no other word for it. It'll make a good thumbnail actually for this video, won't it? So yeah, that's something we've got to look into as to why the pressure is dropping. I mean, we've got -6 lines up front. Everything in the boot is -8. Everything in the boot should be good for about 600 horsepower. The -6 stuff should be good for about 5-ish, if not a little bit more. And I'm only running 200cc injectors, so it's not like I'm dumping a ridiculous amount of fuel in. And we trim the fuel out of it anyway. So something's going on there. Whether I have to check, maybe I've got a line that's kinked, or maybe the fuel pressure rate. I mean, that fuel pressure rate now is God knows how long. It's been sitting out there in the car for the past 5 years. So maybe that's foobar. So maybe that could be what's causing the problem. But overall, I'm really happy tonight because I've got all that sorted. What I'm going to do quickly now, I mean, I'm not going to do any more on the engine tonight because it's got too late and the neighbours are probably already quite annoyed about the noise because it's not a quiet car, I'll be honest. So Dean brought over from his workshop and left over a load of red backhoes. This is back from the
days of the L200 truck.
Mitsubishi L200. This was the boost line that he had for his gauges. I'm going to use it as washer hose. So basically underneath here, Dean comes down, I'll show you. Don't know if I showed you guys this. No, I haven't showed these guys already. But I've mounted my washer jet pump right in there. Now you can see this is the hose. This is basically going to go up, and then the plan is, I think, as I've explained, to have a matching tank, the same as my coolant header is going to be the same as this side, so it matches symmetrical. So that's going to drop down into there, and then this I'm just going to run up into here, up to there, and then we're going to mount our thing back in there, and then up there. So that's what we're going to do next. So I'll get that done, and I'll show you how it's all fitted. Okay, right. To show you guys quickly, we've now got our bit of red line hooked up, sent round up to there. This is not the right vent thing for here. In fact, if anyone's feeling generous or just wants to sell me one, send me a message. I need a MK1 Fiesta sprayer nozzle jet thingy for the windscreen. I think that's actually out of I think that might be out of a Vauxhall Corsa B probably. Oops. So yeah, if anyone's got one of them, give me a message, let me know. But yeah, so we've run that up. Just put it in a little bottle of water here so we can test up quickly, but it runs sort of quite nice and neatly up there, around there, in there. So, now Dean, I'll give that to you.
Yep, get your face in the spray.
Get my face in the spray. Ignition on. That works. Happy days. I can live with that. Happy days. Do you know what we should do? I could turn that round, hook some nitrous up to it. Water methanol injection. There we go. Sorted. Just a little methanol tank under there. Cool. Well, that's another one of those little things that has about 100 of these little bits that all need to be done before the car goes on the road. So that one ticked off. As always, guys, hope you enjoyed it. That is going to do it for this evening. We ran the engine up to temperature this evening. More than happy with that. Don't feel like I need to mess around with that too much more in the coming weeks. Big things we're now waiting on is the pedal box, so that we can get the brakes and the hydraulic clutch and everything all piped up, and the shafts back from Sean, a billet forward, because then we can get front wheels and everything all attached.
Yes, the wheels don't keep falling off.
And in theory, well, yeah, that one over there did fall off when we were rolling it about the other day, because obviously we haven't got the bearing holding it in. But in theory, once we have the shafts back and we have the pedal box, could do a burnout on the street out there. Private road, obviously. So yeah, things are getting close. There's still a mountain of things to do, but as always, like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. We're nearly at 1,000. It'd be nice when we get to 1,000. As you would have seen, obviously merchandise launch, buy your merch, etc. Help fund the project if you fancy it. And when we get to 1,000, there'll be a bit of a giveaway, a bit of my merch, Four Guys merch. Might throw in some cleaning products, that kind of thing. So yeah, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. See you on the next one. Cheers, guys.